The International Committee of the Red Cross has received 3 Israeli detainees as part of the 6th phase of the detainees exchange deal between Palestinian factions and Israel. The 3 detainees have arrived at the initial reception point in southern Israel. The detainees, Russian-Israeli Alexander Trofanov, Argentine-Israeli Yair Horn, and US-Israeli Sagai Dekel Chen, were previously identified by Hamas. Meanwhile, Hamas expects negotiations for the 2nd phase of the ceasefire agreement in Gaza to begin early next week. Hamas has stated that the release of the 6th group of Israeli detainees confirms that negotiations and adherence to the ceasefire deal are the only ways to secure their freedom. The group accused Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of stalling and trying to evade the deal's obligations to serve his political interests. Hamas stressed that it secured guarantees from mediators before resuming the exchange process and vowed not to allow the agreement to fail. A bus carrying freed Palestinian detainees has arrived in Ramallah in the West Bank following their release as part of the 6th phase of the detainees exchange deal. The Palestinian Detainees Media Office reported that 36 detainees serving life sentences have been freed, along with 333 detainees from Gaza who were arrested after October 7, 2023. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office has claimed that Hamas resumed releasing detainees due to Israeli military pressure inside Gaza. It also said that Israel is coordinating with the US to secure the release of all remaining detainees as soon as possible. Also, the Israeli government credited former US President Donald Trump's statements for influencing Hamas's stance. Meanwhile, Israeli President Isaac Herzog said that Tel Aviv will do everything possible to secure the release of all detainees held in Gaza. Israeli media, citing the family of an Israeli soldier held in Gaza, has reported that the detainees exchange deal remains fragile, not because of Hamas, but due to Netanyahu's political maneuvering. The family has further accused the Israeli government of deliberately delaying negotiations for political reasons. Labour and socialist parties across the UK have called for nationwide protests against US President Donald Trump's plan to displace Palestinians from Gaza. In recent days, these parties, along with trade unions and university students, have organised demonstrations condemning what they describe as Trump's ethnic cleansing plan. Protesters demand that Palestinians remain in their homeland, call for Israel to be held accountable for war crimes, and urge the UK government to cut ties with Israel. Egyptian Health and Social Solidarity ministers, along with a delegation from the Arab League, led by Assistant Secretary General Hossam Zaki, have inspected the logistics centre for Gaza aid operations in Arish. The officials reviewed the process of receiving aid by land, sea and air before transferring it through the Rafah border crossing. They also praised volunteers for their efforts in organising and delivering aid to Gaza. Egypt's health minister has declared Egypt as the world's strongest supporter of the Palestinian cause. Meanwhile, Egypt's Minister of Social Solidarity emphasized that Cairo has delivered the largest share of aid to Gaza. She reaffirmed that Egypt's humanitarian efforts have remained relentless since the crisis began, ensuring continuous aid flow to Palestinians despite ongoing challenges. At a press conference near the Rafah crossing, the Arab League's Assistant Secretary General has condemned the slow entry of aid into Gaza as morally unacceptable. He praised Egypt's efforts in coordinating relief, but blamed Israeli restrictions for blocking ready-to-enter trucks. He urged global pressure on Israel to allow aid access, emphasizing hopes for Palestinian recovery and a dignified life, while commending Egypt's role in sustaining humanitarian support. The Egyptian Prime Minister has reaffirmed Egypt's unwavering support for Palestine's right to self-determination and statehood. That comes as President Mahmoud Abbas praised Egypt's consistent stance and commitment to defending Palestinian rights. He also expressed hope that upcoming Arab summit on February 27th would reinforce support for Palestine, ensuring a strong regional and international stance amid ongoing developments. That came during their meeting in Ethiopia's capital, Addis Ababa, at the 38th ordinary session of the African Union Summit. That came as they spoke at the press conference at the Arab Summit. Egypt has facilitated vital aid and medical assistance for Palestinians crossing Rafah, providing free healthcare, surgeries and humanitarian relief, while urging global support amid Gaza's crisis.